You can help stop crime.
It's a programme embedded in Britain's consciousness.
Tonight, once again, we're asking for your help.
It's put hundreds of criminals behind bars.
Number 2 here is a nasty piece of work.
Given justice to victims and their families.
We've had a phenomenal response.
We featured the high-profile crimes that have shocked the nation. And thanks to you, hundreds of investigations have been solved.
And Crimewatch Live presenters Michelle Ackley and Rav Wilding join us now. Hi guys. Oh, now Crimewatch. It was there before anything else because you know now there's loads of like true crime docs and podcasts, but actually this was the original, wasn't it, Michelle?
It's incredible to think, really, isn't it, Al? Because this, you know, just looking at that archive footage there 40 years ago when it started with Nick Ross and Sue Cook, you're right, you know, I think everybody is genuinely interested in being that kind of armchair detective and figuring out how to solve a crime, and that is something that's just been channeled through Crimewatch over the years. The amount of calls that we get during the live shows, people delivering sometimes that key piece of information that can just change everything, it's amazing.
It must be very exciting to be there. With all the information coming in. I mean, that, you know, this was an actual job for you, but
it's a heritage show. Do you know what I mean? We've all grown up with it. I remember we were talking about it before. It used to give me nightmares before I used to go to sleep. But it is fantastic. And Rav, I know that it actually had a big influence on your career, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it gave me nightmares too.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I watched it and saw these detectives trying to solve these massive investigations, and that's partly why I joined the police, and that's why partly I wanted to be a detective because I wanted to be part of that. And then 20 years ago, when I walked onto the studio floor for the first time, I was pretty starstruck myself, almost as starstruck as was Baby Rav. Yeah, that's it. Really starstruck going on there. But it's it does such a great job, and 40 years, it's still going strong.
well, exactly. And Crimewatch Live back on Monday. You've been there for a little while now, Michelle. What are your most memorable moments then, looking back at your time?
You know, there's been a few. It's crazy to think it'll be 10 years next year. And I remember when I was on the roadshow element, we'd be live in a different location every day. And my role then was really to go under the bonnet of the emergency services. So they'd have me abseiling down the side of a building with the mountain rescue team, or going through.
That one wasn't that bad.
Not as bad as the being petrol bombed with the white police. That was
your face gives the game away there. You're not impressed, are you?
Alex, I couldn't breathe. I was trying to come back to you in the studio, saying back to you, Rav. I couldn't really speak. But you know, in all seriousness, it's been amazing because to really understand the work that these teams do, the National Border Force, you know, the caving teams, as I said, RNLI, it's incredible. The mounted unit, to really be immersed in what they do, understand their training and how it helps communities all over the UK.
It's the work, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
The work that they do.
I think as well, Rav, you know, throughout the history of the show, more than 7,000 police appeals within it, and the audience are such a massive part of Crimewatch. And I wasn't aware of this, but am I right in saying that one audience member physically got involved in stopping a crime?
Yeah, a few, yeah, absolutely. But there was one that springs to mind that the show was played out, it was being viewed in a bar in Spain, and the owner of the bar that had it playing recognised one of the suspects from the show, sat in the bar.
Oh,
and
my goodness.
She got up and got hold of this person and held on to them. And it just happens that she recently retired from the prison service, so she was pretty handy.
Well, at least it makes sense.
She kept hold of this person till the authorities came.
She could do it.
Brilliant result. Yeah, really good one.
And then to mark 40 years, you've got a new series, Crimewatch Court. Now, what can you tell us about this then?
It's the thing that's amazing about the main series of Crimewatch is at the very end of the show we kind of have appeal updates and have a bit of a resolution to the crime. So Crimewatch Court takes that to another level. We kind of delve into cold cases and more recent cases and really tell the story of how the criminals were brought to justice. We kind of go into a bit more detail.
Yeah, just piecing the puzzle together, isn't it? Just explaining all the work that goes into it, because the viewers might not necessarily understand when you just see a result how much work and time and effort has gone into it, and this just explains that, doesn't it? Some fascinating cases.
Yeah, that would be so interesting, wouldn't it, for viewers?
Yeah.
Oh, well, guys, it's a pleasure to have you here, and Crimewatch Live returns to BBC One and iPlayer next Monday morning at 10:45, and Crimewatch Court starts next month. Plus, you can see Michelle on Morning Live